I was working with a lady once who really needed to get her blood sugar readings down. She was suffering from some complications, and it was just urgent that she turn around her diet so that she could get some better blood sugar readings. And one of the things we did was work on her breakfast. She preferred oatmeal in the mornings for breakfast, but she would have it with fat-free milk. And so I got her to switch from fat-free milk to whole milk, and also to add some things to that oatmeal, bulk it up, add some nuts, some berries, and so on. And she was quite shocked that her blood sugar readings in the morning time improved with that change. And even so, she was able to stay satisfied until lunch. She did not need that morning snack. And one of the things that really helped the blood sugars improve in the morning time was that switch from fat-free milk to whole milk. Of course, the nuts and so on helped. But in this video, I'm going to talk about why blood sugar readings get better, or rather why whole milk is better for people with blood sugar problems, or for any of us for that matter, compared to fat-free milk. For those of you meeting me for the first time, I'm Dr. Amina Goodwin, a physician and a health coach, and I help overweight people with blood sugar problems fix those problems without having to take more medications. All right, milk. What type is better? Fat-free, 2% milk, whole milk? You know, there's a big debate about this. A lot of times people who are dieting and told by, I guess, their health care providers to change up their diet, they're told to have low-fat milk, low-fat everything, and so they feel as if whole milk, oh my goodness, that's the worst thing ever. But in this video, I'm going to show you really with this diagram why it is that whole milk actually protects your body. It protects your body from the sugar that's present in the milk compared to fat-free milk. So let's look at the breakdown of types of milk, and I'm going to compare fat-free milk to whole milk. Now, milk, it's nature's food for babies. Mammals produce milk to feed babies in the first few months of life. It has to be a complete food because that's all the babies are going to survive on. For complete food, to be a complete food, it has to have the three main macronutrients, which are carbohydrates, fat, and protein. Now, the carbohydrates in milk is the milk sugar lactose. Lactose is a double bonded sugar comprised of both glucose and galactose. So galactose is a specific simple sugar in milk, and essentially lactose, which is a double bonded sugar, has 1 part glucose and 1 part galactose. Okay, and so for milk, it has mostly carbs, right? Probably because babies can't really store much carbs. Us adults, we store carbohydrates in the form of glycogen, and we have glycogen in our liver, and even more so in our muscles. But babies are really very immature, and so they're not going to really be storing too much carbs in their bodies, and so they need to get a lot of it from their food. So 1 serving of milk is a cup, and a cup of milk is going to have 12 grams of carbs, and then it's going to have 8 grams of fat and 8 grams of protein. So almost in a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio of the 3 major macronutrients. Okay, so for milk, right, having all these 3 things, I have it demonstrated in a cup here. So this is a cup of milk, and we have the 3 macronutrients distributed almost equally. So you can see a pretty crowded cup here with the 3 nutrients. Now, because it's pretty crowded, it means that the sugar, that's demonstrated by the red dots here, these are the sugar bits, okay? And these are going to have to jostle and pass the fat and pass the protein before they can get through the wall of the intestines and get into the bloodstream, okay? Because it's pretty crowded. And so it's going to take a longer time, and because it's taking a longer time, that all along, the muscles of the gut are contracting to move whatever is inside further down the intestines. Eventually, things get down to the large colon, by which time there's no absorption, right? And so if there is time being taken by the sugar to jostle through the protein and the fat, it means that maybe some of the sugar, depending on what else is within the intestines, will pass down and will not end up being absorbed into the bloodstream, and so your blood sugar levels won't go up so high. Now, if you're having fat-free milk, right, and you are, you're having fat-free milk, and so you're having milk where the fat, right, let's put the sugar back, you're having milk where the fat was removed, it was filtered out, okay, so it was strained, and you can see the fat droplets are pretty large, and so the fat is removed in fat-free milk, and what you have left is essentially milk that only has protein and carbs, okay? So whereas the whole milk had maybe about 48% of carbs, which we can say sugar, right? Compared to everything else, right? It had 48% carbs, it had 26% fat, 26% protein. If you remove the fat, then the proportions change. And so in that same cup of milk, you're going to have a higher proportion of carbs because there's no more fat taking up space. You're going to have 60% carbs and 40% protein. So you have a much higher percentage of carbs in the cup of fat-free milk compared to the percentage of carbs in the cup of whole milk. If you have more carbs, right, you have no fat here, so it's less crowded in here. Inside this cup is like inside the intestines. And so it's way easier for all these sugar bits to get through the walls of the intestines. It's going to take a shorter time because it just kind of goes here. It doesn't have to jostle. There's not much of a crowd. So it gets more easily across the intestinal lining and into your bloodstream. And so your blood sugar is going to go up faster and then it's going to go up higher just because you removed the fat from the milk. And that is why whole milk is better for anyone, right? But especially for persons with blood sugar problems, diabetics, pre-diabetics, and so on, right? Now, some people might wonder, well, what about lactose-free milk? Lactose-free milk has, it's lactose-free, so it means there's no lactose, right? Remember we said lactose basically is a double bonded sugar. It has glucose, which of course is what we are concerned about, and then it has galactose, okay? That's the specific milk sugar. Now, if you have lactose-free milk, it means that the enzyme responsible for splitting lactose into its two parts, that's what happens. Lactose intolerant people, they don't have the enzyme that is needed to cut this bond or cut the link between these two simple sugars. And so they have lactose staying within the intestines. It cannot be split. It's too large to go across the intestinal wall. And so it stays in the intestines and ferments, and it can cause the diarrhea and the bloating and those problems, right? For lactose-free milk, what happens is that the lactase enzyme is added. It is added to the milk before it is ingested. And because it is added, it starts working outside of the body essentially. So by the time you drink this milk, these bonds have already been split. And you are drinking milk that has free glucose and free galactose. That's why actually lactose-free milk has a slightly sweeter taste than regular milk, okay? And so you're drinking milk that has free-floating glucose and galactose, so it's split, right? The lactose molecules are split, and so you have free glucose, free galactose, and because you have free glucose, it means that the time that the body would have taken to split these bonds inside, it's not needed, and so you have the glucose now ready to be absorbed across the gut wall and into your bloodstream. And so lactose-free milk is going to even carry up your blood sugar faster than regular fat-free milk, and certainly faster than whole milk, okay? So there you have it, the breakdown of the types of milk. I think we can say that nature always wins, okay? Things are created in nature for a reason, and nature works with our bodies. And so for us to think that altering something is going to make it superior than how it was provided by nature is kind of faulty thinking, right? So don't worry about whole milk. Go ahead with your whole milk. Obviously, you're not going to abuse or overuse anything, right? But generally speaking, you will understand now that you're probably better off having whole milk because after all, fat is one of the essential macronutrients. We cannot survive without fat. We can survive without carbs, but we cannot survive without fat because our bodies are not going to be able to make fat just compared to how it can make carbohydrates to sustain us in life, okay? I hope you all found this video helpful, and if you did, definitely share it with somebody who might benefit from this knowledge. Thanks for watching again, and have a good day. Bye.